For those who haven't been paying attention on this vlog, and I haven't been really good about documenting it lately in the, I hate that dinger. I haven't been really good at documenting it lately in my, in my, video descriptions. But the only working camera that I have that's particularly functional, I mean, Obama Phone 3 and Obama Phone 5 work. They're out of space. I mean, yeah, I could put SD cards in either of them, but I just don't have the money to spend on that sort of thing right now, so I'm not. The only camera that works on my iPhone is the selfie camera, so it's making shooting these videos super difficult. And yet, here I am, still doing it. So, yeah, the last segment's like, that's a large part of why they're so god-awful. But anyway, person who called me, yeah. So after we moved past the discussion of, like, how stupid it was for her to leave voicemail, and assume that I would receive her voicemail, to just make that assumption, she went into on to talk about how she was the leader of an anger management group, and that she and that they met virtually on Zoom, at which point I just pretty much had to stop her. Wow, red car just went in front of the white car. White car had the right of way because white car was turning right. Vehicle turning right always has the right of way over vehicle turning left. I don't understand why that's such a difficult thing for other people to negotiate. I have had times when I've been the guy going straight at that intersection and somebody tried to turn left directly in front of me and then yelled at me like I did something wrong. Asshole, you're turning left. You have the lowest priority of right of way. You don't go until absolutely everybody else is gone. I'm not gonna have much time to explain what happened in this conversation because I'm already at Walmart. It's not like, or Costco. It's not much of a drive to Costco. However, it doesn't look like it's gonna. Wow, my car is idling really funny. Hear that? That is not a normal, healthy idle sound. I prefer to park on the left side there, where I'm in the shade and I don't have to walk in front of killing machines like that GMC to get to the front door. However, it doesn't look like any of those parking spaces are available. Well, that sucks. And I did have to drive for this because I'm getting more things at the moment that I'm going to be able to carry back without a vehicle. So that sucks. Presumably, fat, angry security guard is not working this early. I haven't had any additional run-ins with him, fortunately, other than when he was at my court date. Not at my last court date, but the court date prior to that. And according to my attorney, Mr. Tinker, he was very angry when Mr. Tinker just simply asked him who he was and why he was there. Wow. I really need to get the cat some food. I really need to get myself some cheese and some sandwich meat, but holy crap, the level. Yeah, just go ahead and cut me off there, dude. Why don't you see if you can smash into that other Kia that's backing up while you're at it. Wow, this is a complete shit show. It is really busier here than what I'm comfortable with. In fact, it's a lot busier here than what I'm comfortable with. Let's see what time it is. 12:44 p.m. Am I dressed for work, and do I have the things I need to go to work? I'm wearing shoes, a t-shirt, and jeans. I would say that equals dressed for work. Just gotta make sure I'm not in my flip-flops. That's problematic for work. Got my hat, the correct safety vest, and my name tag in the car. I could go directly to work. Now seems like a good time to go to the mental health clinic and try to talk to my case manager. I gave the cats kibble. Sheba was eating it, although she gave me that look of, can you please give me something other than this? I don't really like it. But she eats it when I give it to her. She's a sweet kitten, although she's not really a kitten anymore. Sambo, on the other hand, really angry about it. He was actually eating it this time, though. For the last day and a half, he's been refusing to eat it. He was actually eating it, but then he kept looking up at me and angrily meowing. And the cat I had before them, Shadow, rest her soul, I had her for many, many, many years, and she was happy to eat nothing but Meow Mix kibble. The only time she got finicky is if I gave her cheap kibble where the first ingredient was cornmeal. I do remember the first time I bought some really cheap kibble, and she wouldn't eat it, and then I looked at the ingredient list and I noticed that the first ingredient was cornmeal, and I still had the empty bag from the Meow Mix, which she really liked. I always got her the indoor formula of Meow Mix, and I noticed that its first ingredient was mechanically processed chicken or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, okay, there's a definite, car driving directly in front of me, going to the right, just went up and over the curb. Wow, this traffic in this parking lot is absolutely from hell. Wow, and all these people are fighting to try to turn left, go out on Oak Street, when I can see looking to the left on Oak Street that there's not even space to turn right on Oak Street because of all the traffic that's happening here. I don't understand why when people are encountering traffic like that, they just simply don't turn right so they can continue flowing. All right, we got this guy incapable of pulling forward to wherever he's trying to pull forward to, so he's blocking this lane. Pull forward, dude. It's not rocket science. The guy in front of me decided to go across the yellow line to deal with the guy that was blocking this lane, instead of just waiting until he figured out how to get out of the way. Alright, this intersection confuses people because the cross traffic on the right and left does not have a stop sign, but this pathway that I'm on does. On the left has the right of way. Anybody on the right also has the right of way over anybody on this. Wow, we got nice dents on that guy's doors. The guy in front of me seems hesitant to go, but I'm turning left, so anybody in front of me who is not turning left has the right of way over me. Is this creating a backup behind me? Yes, it is. There's only two cars. That woman on the right is stopping, even though she has no stop sign. It's clearly a situation of too many people in cars, as I am here in a car. And now I'm stuck on another one that's going to be difficult to get out of. Note to self, don't ever come here this close to 1 o'clock on a Wednesday. This is just nightmare fuel. I can't even handle the parking lot right now. There's no way I could have been able to handle the volume of people in that store. I'm going to be stuck in this traffic jam for a minute. I may as well talk about what happened with that woman. So she begins talking about how the group is on Zoom, and I cut her off pretty quickly. I said, well, I don't. My phone doesn't support that. Now, to be honest, I don't know for a fact that none of my phones support that. But let's take a step back and talk about Zoom. It should be pretty common knowledge at this point that Zoom is Chinese software, and that all Chinese software companies, by Chinese law, have to share their data with the Chinese government. If that alone isn't a red flag to you, you're not paying attention. Or you're Chinese. I got a pedestrian standing in the median. That's never a good sign. Holy shit at this traffic. That guy that just changed lanes to the right probably had the right idea. But I don't have a right mirror, so I can't really safely see if there's traffic coming up behind me on the right. What I'm definitely not doing is waiting for another green left arrow. I'm going straight, even though it's taking me out of my way. All right, it's been a while since I've seen a mismatched truck bed. Nice to see somebody actually doing some work on their own truck. Trying to figure out what the best route is for me to get to my clinic from here. I mean, the no-brainer would be to go all the way across on Osborne, but Osborne doesn't go all the way across from 44th Street. Osborne only goes east from Central to 36th Street. So I've got to figure out some other way to get from here to 36th Street. I do believe Earl goes through. I could always double back to Thomas. Always trips me out when I drive down this street to see how many of the original houses have been replaced with McMansions. Some of them are really nice. Some of them, like this one on the right, just look kind of oversized, gaudy, and out of place. Actually, the one on the right isn't terrible. There was one on the right a little bit further back that was a little on the hideous side. And just how much bigger it was and how much it didn't really fit the character of the rest of the street. Not that I'm endorsing that kind of regulation, because that's the shit HOAs do, and I don't like that. I feel people should be free to build what they want on their property. However, it is kind of hideous what's doing in the neighborhood, like the one I just passed on the right. But I guess this is how Phoenix is growing and evolving. And it just makes me sad because I, you know, what about the house that was there? There was a nice house there. Why did you have to destroy that? Okay, on 40th Street, I can turn right and then hang a left on Earl. And Earl will get me to 36 without issue. So yeah, Zoom. Chinese company. That should be a huge red flag to everybody. That probably don't want to have private conversations on a software platform that's presumably saving everything to a server, and whose servers, by law, have to be accessible to the Chinese government. I've never installed Zoom. I have zero intentions to ever install Zoom. I refuse to use it. It should be my right. Now, I get where there are companies and stuff that have embraced Zoom and that use Zoom. Okay, that's fine. But if I'm doing something for you and you need me to use Zoom to do that something for you, the only way I'm going to be willing to do that is if you provide the hardware for it, you install the Zoom software and configure it to do what you need me to do on that hardware, and you provide the internet connection. Yeah, this woman wasn't having that discussion with me. Now, granted, I didn't bring that subject up because I knew that would be a dead end. But she just somehow assumed I would be able to run Zoom. I told her that I have an Obama phone and that it runs Android Go, which isn't capable of running most apps. I don't think it can run Zoom. I also should have probably said that I don't think I have enough data to run Zoom, because if I'm anywhere other than in my home on my Wi-Fi, which has been a challenge to pay for lately, I don't have enough data to do any kind of video conferencing. It's a struggle with streaming. And for uploading my videos to YouTube, I'm very much limited to places where I can go and latch onto a Wi-Fi where I have some good upload bandwidth. Earl to 36th worked well. The stoplight up ahead is the intersection of Osborne and 36th. And from Osborne and 36th, Osborne goes to the west all the way to I-17. So, not a good thoroughfare. Well, another apartment complex on the right that's been eliminated, presumably to make high-dollar condominiums. At least I think there was a little apartment complex in what is now a vacant lot on the right. Osborne has always been one of my favorite thoroughfares across Phoenix, just because it's not a stroad. It's a street. It does get a little bit strody on the other side of 24th Street. And we'll hit that in a bit. So anyway, yeah, I told her that my phone couldn't run Zoom, and she seemed really shocked by that. Apparently she couldn't comprehend that somebody in the mental health system would be using an Obama phone. Apparently she is unfamiliar with the fact that Obama phones use an operating system called Android Go, and what the limitations of Android Go are. And I asked where she was physically located. She said in Mesa. Mesa is a very big place. I'm not sure how many square miles Mesa is, but hey, I'm at a long red light. Maybe I can look that up right now on Wikipedia. Won't that be fun? Actually, let me see. Oh, shit. I struggle with this thing. Mesa, city in Arizona. 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Mesa city just east of Phoenix. Oh... I'm not seeing the square footage. It has 500,000 people, though, 509,000. It's very low densities. That 500,000 people are spread out over a huge amount of space. Anyway, saying that you're in Mesa doesn't narrow down your location. There are parts of Mesa that are not far from me. And there are parts of Mesa that are very far from me. There are parts of Mesa that can be easily accessed via public transit, especially if they're near Valley Metro Light Rail, which goes along Main Street from the west edge of Mesa all the way to Gilbert Road. There are other parts of Mesa that have no bus service whatsoever. So, yeah, saying Mesa doesn't narrow it down much. I finally got her to say where it took several asks in different ways of phrasing it to get her to say where in Mesa. She said she's near Mesa Drive and University. That's close for me. That works for me. It doesn't take me long to drive to Mesa Drive and University. I'll probably drive there from my place in normal traffic in about 20 minutes, give or take. And if I needed to get there by bus, there is a bus along University, or I could take the light rail and walk a half mile north from the Mesa Drive station. That's doable. That works. Awesome. Location, check. That's a location that works for me. Not as close as I'd like it to be, but close enough I'm comfortable with it. And I'm like, okay, so when's the hours? Well, the hours of the session, as I recall, mind you, my memory is very fallible, were from 1 p.m. until 3 p.m. or 4 p.m.? So a 3-hour group? Are you fucking kidding me? What the fuck are we doing for 3 hours? I mean, is anger management just trying to see if we can not be angry about having 3 hours of our day wasted? Because, damn, that's a long time. That just seems like a complete waste of time. It just seems like somebody milking the time to receive taxpayer dollars. That's what it looks like to me. Wow, ridiculousness. Yeah, I can't fucking believe that. And maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like the time, and I wish I could have recorded this conversation. And perhaps I should look into on my iPhone getting an app that records calls, because I think there are apps like that for the iPhone that might actually run on a 6S Plus still. But yeah, how much more space will that take when I'm already hurting for space? That's another problem. But yeah, I was kind of dumbfounded by that. And I'm like, well, I said, well, do you have another group time? Because that's not going to work. I have to be to work by 2 o'clock on Tuesdays. It's like, well, that's the only time, so blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, well, can I get you to email me all that information? And she seemed really taken aback when I told her I wanted her to email, which is, I think that's funny. Like, she's asking me expecting that I will have downloaded and installed Zoom and will have learned how to operate Zoom, which is a proprietary platform that answers to the Chinese government. But yet I asked her to email. Email is an open protocol. There are literally thousands of ways to email. Countless free email apps and services. Everybody should have email. If you don't have email, you can get email. Anybody can get email. Email can run on anything. I mean, I'm sure I could configure my Commodore VIC-20 to send and receive email. I'm not exactly sure how I would do it, but I'm pretty confident that I could make that happen. You can send an email from a smartwatch. Even my most outdated smartphones, I'm pretty sure if I can get them on Wi-Fi, I can get them to send and receive email somehow. Anyway, yeah, so she had like, suddenly that was just some kind of a huge ask, after what she expected of me was clearly so much more. And she's like, well, what information? I said, the information that you just said to me, that was just fleeting and gone in the moment because I'm not recording this conversation. I wish I could have recorded the whole conversation. It sounded like a fucking comedy skit. That woman was so completely ridiculous. She then proceeded to say that she couldn't email me without checking to see if I'd filled out some kind of consent form, and if it wasn't completely done correctly, blah, 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 blah. She's going through my file, blah, blah, blah. I said, I'm on the phone with you right now. I'm giving you consent to email me right now. Well, verbal consent doesn't count. Since when? And since when is consent needed to email somebody? I get emails from so many spam bots and whatnot. I guarantee I didn't fill out any consent forms. All you need to email somebody, you don't need consent. You just need that fucking email address. She never as much as asked for my email address. I'm telling her right there, email me. I'm telling you, you don't need any further consent. I just asked you to email me. Did you get my consent to leave a voicemail message? Because I'm pretty sure I didn't consent to leaving voicemail messages. In fact, I'm pretty sure when I filled out that form, there was a checkbox for that, and I left it unchecked because I don't want voicemail messages, ever. I don't fuck with voicemail. But she had no problem doing that without bothering to check the form and see if I'd consented to that. After that, she kept pressing me why I need that email, why I need that email. I said, because otherwise I'm not going to remember all this information. Okay, but why do you need that information? At which point I explained to her that I had a court. I said, you need to wait for me, ma'am. I said, I don't remember everything. I need to go down to where things are written down so I can remember it. So I'm going to my fridge where I have my court order underneath the Biden who shit my pants magnet. Said, this date, time, and location. I have a court hearing, and I need to let my attorney know that, you're telling me this is the only available anger management, which is really weird because she said this is the only available anger management group through LifeWell, and it was in Mesa, which it seems like about a month ago I talked to somebody here at the clinic who told me the only available anger management group was somewhere near Metro Center. So they can't both be the only available group. One of those is a lie. They cannot both be true. I have a problem with that. I don't like people lying to me. Yay, a spot. It seems to be one of the spots I normally get into. I don't like parking so damn close to that pole, but it's I can squeeze in there. I just gotta be super careful backing out. So anyway, so I told her that I didn't pass that information on to my attorney. At which point she goes, "Well, are you court ordered to do anger management?" And I fully got the subtext of where that was going, because I get it. Some people are court ordered to do it. No, at this point, I've agreed that I will do it if, and it was a very conditional agreement, if. Oh, there's my alarm. It's time to wake up. If it doesn't conflict with my work schedule, and if it is a location that I can get to that isn't overly burdensome. Now, I've agreed that as long as I've got my vehicle, Mesa Drive and University's not overly burdensome, I'm fine with the location. I do believe in expecting me to install and use Zoom is overly burdensome, though. But yeah, I think she was trying to go down that road of, well, you're court ordered, you have to do it. This is more important than your job. Bitch, it is not more important than my job. My job is how I get my income to pay my rent so I am not homeless. There's nothing more important than my job. Sorry, next answer, next question, whatever. Get real. You're not that important, ma'am. Neither is your stupid little group. Anyway, after that, most of our discussion was about what kind of permission she needed to email me and how she would email me and blah, blah. And then, like, she would otherwise email my case manager, which brought me to the point of me struggling to remember my case manager's name. I said, it's not Tara. She's like, well, who is it? I said, well, it was Tara for like 18 years. It's not Tara. And amazingly, I remember Jana. And I'm hoping Jana is correct. I think it's Jana. She said, well, I'll email Jana. I'm going right now and hopefully can talk to Jana. It's 1:06 on the Saturn clock. It means 1:16 in the real world. So I've got maybe 20 minutes of time to try to handle this here. Just down my last 20-ounce Coca-Cola. That caffeine and sugar should get me to a point where I can deal with this. Wish me luck.